right, y'all, so for this recipe you are going to need, and this is for everything, this is for the cabbage salad slaw and for the turkey meatballs. Some of the stuff I omitted because I don't really like it, but you feel free to do what you want to do. All right, so you're gonna need a purple cabbage. Got one back there. I went ahead and got the matchstick carrots because I mean, who really has time to be cutting up carrots like that? But anyways, if you do, that's cool. Also got some honey, some sriracha, white wine vinegar, some panko breadcrumbs. So I just got some ready rice, y'all, because I mean it's quick. And again, I have a toddler, so we have to move rather fast, and it's brown rice, so it's fine. I got some hoisin sauce. We have salt, pepper, and onion powder, garlic, crushed pineapples, 1 egg. I got some olive oil, some ginger. We are going to grate that ginger, and then 1 pound of ground turkey. And so that's all you're going to need for this whole recipe. These are all the ingredients that you're going to need. Now, I did omit the green onion. I omitted that, not on purpose. I just forgot to put it on the grocery list. So I'm just going to use onion powder and just make it work like that. I'm sure it's still going to taste good, but if you have time to get a green onion, go ahead and get your green onion. And then I also omitted the red onions for the cabbage slaw because I am pregnant. I am like 22 weeks pregnant right now, and y'all, I just cannot do red onions. I just cannot do them. The taste of them make me feel terrible. So I omitted those as well. But if you want to throw those in, totally throw those in. But I'm going to get into the meal prep portion. I'm going to go ahead and make this ground turkey, roll it out, put it on the baking sheet. We're going to pop it in the oven and take it from there. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get into making this recipe. The first thing you're going to do is add your 1 pound of ground turkey to a bowl. Then you're going to add in your panko breadcrumbs. Now, I will list all the exact amounts down below. In the description box, I'll have the entire recipe and everything listed down below. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add your crushed pineapples. These were actually really yummy. I had to taste some of them, so once I poured those in here, I had a little snacky snack. Put those to the side for later. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to add your 1 egg in here. And now it's time to add in your hoisin sauce. So with the hoisin sauce, you're going to actually use a total of 3 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. You're going to put 2 tablespoons inside of the actual ground turkey mix, and then you're going to use a tablespoon for like a glaze over the ground turkey at the end once it's finished cooking. Next, you're going to add in your sriracha cha-cha-cha. Now, I added more sriracha than necessary. These were kind of on the spicy side. I added a full tablespoon of sriracha, 2 full tablespoons. But if you are sensitive to heat, I would strongly suggest adding 2 teaspoons. Okay, so next up, you're going to get ready to add in your grated ginger. I'm not really sure where my cheese grater is. Can't find it. So I just try to finely chop this ginger as fine as I can. You want to just get it as fine. I probably could have maybe even put it in the food processor to grate it down even more, because I had some pieces that were a little bigger than I had hoped for when we were eating the meatballs, but it was still yummy. All right, so next up, we're going to get ready to add in our garlic. I've been really loving this garlic paste instead of having to like get the garlic cloves, chop them up and all that. It's been super duper convenient. Adding in some pepper, a little bit of salt, and we're going to add in some onion powder. Now remember, the recipe actually calls for green onions, chopped green onions, but I forgot those in the grocery list, so I'm trying to improvise here by using the onion powder, and it was still, just as yummy. Feel free to get your hands in there, get your hands involved. Eventually you will have to get your hands in there. I'm just using a spatula to kind of mix everything up so that it is one consistency, and then I'm going to get my hands involved and roll these babies up into some meatballs. Okay, so next up, you're going to add a little bit of olive oil to your pan, just so that the meatballs don't really stick. You can also use some parchment paper so that they don't stick. Funny story about that. Parchment paper and wax paper are not the same thing, and you can tell that I am new to cooking because I one time utilized wax paper thinking that it was the same thing as parchment paper and almost burnt the house down. So do not do that. Always use the parchment paper so that your stuff doesn't stick, okay? But yeah, I'm just basically rolling these up into little balls. Now, another thing about this is you can make your meatballs really big, and this can probably be like 2 meals, or you can make them small and stretch them out over the course of a couple of meals. We actually ended up having this for dinner, and then I also had like a couple of very small plates to have for lunch the next day. So if you want to have even more, like if you have a larger family, I would suggest doubling this recipe because you'll see at the end that the yield wasn't a whole lot, but if you're thinking about portion sizes, it was actually pretty perfect. Okay, so while the meatballs are cooking in the oven, you're gonna go ahead and start making your cabbage slaw, your purple cabbage slaw. So for this recipe, I believe you can buy shredded purple cabbage already made, or maybe even the whole cabbage slaw. But for this, I used only half of a purple cabbage, and that was plenty. So you're just gonna try to shred this as fine as you possibly can. In small strips, just so that it's not too much. So this cabbage slaw was surprisingly very, very easy to make. And it also yielded a lot. So we actually had a lot left over, some of which that I'm going to use for another meal. But yeah, so once you add the carrots in there, you're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then you're going to add in your white wine vinegar. Add in your honey, your salt and pepper to taste. And again, you can add as much salt and pepper as you would like to. Kind of make sure you taste it and see what it tastes like, because this can be eaten hot or cold. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's really all you need. Again, the recipe that I'm going to post down below calls for a red onion, but I mean, I was fine with this. It was very refreshing, and we're definitely going to have it alongside some salmon today. So, yum. Look at these beautiful meatballs, y'all. They turned out super, super good. Right now, I'm just kind of setting up my meal prep. So like I said, we ended up having a couple of meatballs, and we had this meal for dinner, and then the leftovers I kind of split up into a couple of containers, and we just ended up eating that for lunch the next day. But I think I could totally see us doubling this recipe, just because, like, I mean, our family, we do eat a lot, and it was really simple to make, so I can see us totally doubling this recipe. All right, so this is my favorite part of the meal prepping, when everything comes together. I've mentioned before that we were using the Uncle Ben's ready rice. We use a very, very small amount of rice, y'all. So if you are doing a keto diet, you could definitely just omit the rice altogether. I feel like it added a little bit more texture and flavor to the cabbage slaw, because literally we're going to put that right on top. But it's not something that you necessarily have to have. Then we're going to add our meatballs, and then that's a done deal. Like, those meals are ready for the week. You are ready to go the next day. You don't have to worry about what you're going to have for lunch. You don't have to worry about trying to go to fast food restaurants or doing anything like that. You can stick to a healthy, nutritious meal. You have your proteins from the meatballs, you have your complex carbs from the brown rice, and then you have your veggies right there with the carrot slaw. And overall, you can ask for a healthier meal. This is great. All right, y'all, so that is it. Honestly, it turned out really, really good, and it tastes really good. This is kind of like an Asian inspired, I think, meal. But you see, I only put a little bit of brown rice up there, and I think it's toddler approved. Let me go check and see. All right, so I think this is a winner. She's eating most of it. I gave her a side of grapes, and she does not like the purple cabbage, so we did just the carrots instead. She loves the carrot, and she is eating the turkey meatball. So I think overall it's a win-win. So much for watching. It's been a couple of days, and the meatballs were an absolute hit. We love them, and we will be making them again. If you haven't already, try out the recipe and see if you like it too. If you do try it out, be sure to tag us in it, take pictures, and so that we can see how your masterpiece turned out. As always, keep showing up, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.